Okay, so this is going to be the last tutorial covering how to set up and do the diagrams for assignment 2. And what we're going to look at is we're going to generate the diagram in SketchUp and in Illustrator. We're going to import that into Layout, and then I'm going to show you guys how to export basically a sheet set out of the Layout software. Okay, so the first thing we got to do, we have our guy set up, our floor plan. I've drawn the circulation plan for the parents that'll be looking off of that. We're going to be generating view vectors off of this this diagram here. So we'll go ahead and for this, we're going to go ahead and just export the 2D graphic. We're going to call this view and export that. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and hop into Illustrator. Go File, Open. And this is going to engage a little bit of a different technique here, just to get you guys engaged with the tools. We're going to open. All right, and so we have the guy set up in here. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get all of this stuff set up on my, set that, beef that up to 5 like we did with the previous circulation. Color, and this little drop down, we can change that. So click that. Bring that up, bring up our arrowheads. You'll note that they're all going in the wrong direction, of course, so I'll just flip them all at once. All right, and then I'm going to right click and group those together. Okay, so now we're ready to start to look at this and create a view diagram. I'm going to go ahead and also give myself a little bit more space, opening up the artboards on this image. Since it was just a CAD drawing, it just opened up to fit to the document. Now we're going to draw a little bit in here. So using the arc tool, I'm going to go ahead and just draw a simple arc. And then using the line tool here, I'm going to go ahead and just draw essentially a cone of radius that is going to go to 30 degrees. So if I come in here and I can tell I'm a little bit off using the A tool, I'll go ahead and just set that up. And you can estimate this. This is essentially just a diagram, but we want to essentially give ourselves a sense of what the views are going to be looking at. And so from there, what we're going to do is I'm going to right click and group this, and then I'm going to go ahead and set this up with sort of our standard black. Okay, and I'm going to turn this off for a second here. We're going to use the tool called Live Paint, and in order to do this, we need to transform this object. The first thing we want to do when we get in here, we go into the group by double clicking, right click. We can under the object tab transform this into a live paint. We can make this a live paint object. Okay, and then if we come over here underneath this, the shape builder tools, which you're going to see, the live paint bucket is then what we want to do. We need to select a color for that, double clicking on our swatch. And so I'm going to go ahead and set this to yellow. You can use any color you guys like. I'm going to go ahead and you can see that that activates. And now we've painted that and filled that object. Okay. If we come over here, now we don't actually want that. And so we have this nice cone of vision or view that we can start to set up in here. Now what we can do with this, if we go into the group, say I don't really want this to be a solid yellow, and it'd be nice if I actually could give this a little bit of a fade. If I come over to the other edge here under the gradient tool, I can set the gradient and do that. I can set the gradient for the color here. And then I can come over here and also, if I double click on this, pull this menu down, set this to RGB, set that to yellow. If I come over here, I can take the white and set the opacity down to 0 so we can completely see through this. And we can come over and rotate this around until we get roughly what we're looking for in this. And it looks like I want to go about -60, or maybe minus 120. There we go. So it's starting to approximate what we're looking at. And then I'm going to grab this guy and just pull this in so we have a little bit more intense array in here. Okay, and then we can start to double click. We can turn this off. And I am going to end up just so we can give this just a little bit Give this just like a medium gray, and I'm going to drop the line weight down to very, very small, faint. Okay, I'm going to cut this using our layers. We got to get in a good habit of doing that. I'm going to go ahead and paste that in on a new layer, lock the guys I don't want to be able to edit, and then I can start locating the views on the vector here. And then using this transform tool, which is the E button, I can start to rotate this into place, and I can start to highlight key views in the floor plan here by rotating this and then just placing that in there. Alright, and this is a really, really simple tool to start to develop here. We can really start to get this set up, and so we can see exactly how what a parent might be able to go through and view as we look at this and they move through the space. Okay, and then what we can do once we've developed that to a level we feel comfortable with, we can go ahead and go File, Export. Again, we're going to go ahead and export this as an image. So we'll save that, CMYK. Alright, and we'll go ahead and you can see I go ahead and delete all of this. Okay, so then we pop up into layout and we have a blank sheet here. We can go ahead and then insert that image again, just like we've been doing. And you'll note that because this is a diagram, it doesn't have a scale to it. And we could measure that and actually build a graphic scale if we liked. And I'm going to go ahead and just rotate that. And then I'm going to scale this up. So if I hold Alt and Shift, I can make this much bigger. Alright, and you can see that this is in here. You guys should have produced the appropriate labels. And get that centered on here. Oops. Okay, so we go through here, and you guys will be laying out all your different diagrams in here. Put these in the order that's discussed in the sheet set listing. Sorry. And then so now we're essentially assuming that you have all your diagrams done. You have your plans and your sections from your SketchUp model implemented and embedded. We're ready to good to go to go ahead and export this as a PDF. So we'll go ahead and then we can go through and just call this assignment 2 on the desktop, and we go hit save. It's going to ask you a series of questions. You want all of it? The output quality, you want this to be high. And then you want to create the PDF layers from layout layers, and yeah, you want to go ahead and do this, each one of these guys. And then it's going to automatically pop this guy up. And you should have a series of diagrams and sheet set stuff with all your annotations and everything in there. And you should be able to export each one of those guys. Now alternatively, if you wanted to export images, you can go ahead and export each sheet as an image by going through this menu. Okay? And that's all there is to it.